Right now, as we speak, there are 6 people living in space, and a ruby red electric sports car is on its way to Mars. The rocket that launched that car was a trial run for the spaceship that is one day going to take us, human beings, to the red planet. We are going to be an interplanetary species in this century.
In the deserts of North Africa and the forests of central Mexico, we're painting the earth with laser scanners, uncovering ancient lost cities. And that same laser technology is what's driving the biggest revolution in transportation in more than a century. The autonomous vehicle is here.
Here in the United States, we're making advanced robots that look like us, that move like us, even jump like us. Although I'm pretty sure most of you can't do this.
Chernobyl, site of humanity's worst nuclear accident. At ground zero, engineers have converted a wasteland into a clean energy-producing solar power plant for future generations. How's that for a sign of better things to come?
In Delhi, India, police just got their hands on facial recognition glasses. First thing they did, upload all of the photos of the city's missing children and track down 3,000 of them in just 4 days.
Melbourne, our hometown, they've unveiled the largest metal 3D printer in the world, capable of creating aircraft, submarine, rockets. We are at the dawn of a new age in manufacturing.
In Boston, some of the world's best geneticists are rewriting DNA, the code of life, reprogramming human cells to be impervious to disease. In Israel, biotechnologists have liposuctioned out fat cells, put them into a bioreactor. It's a man-made simulation of the human body, and they've regrown human bones that are 7 times stronger than our biological ones.
And this is one of the first prototypes of an instant in-ear translation device that uses artificial intelligence to allow me to speak in real time to anyone on the planet in any language.
It's the real-life Babelfish.
Since the dawn of time, language barriers have been one of our key hurdles to progress. Within the lifetimes of every person here today, those barriers are going to disappear.
Oh, and by the way, we should probably point out that every single one of these mind-blowing stories has happened in the last 5 months.
Good morning, MDRT. We are thrilled to be here.
I would like to introduce you to my good friend, Gus.
This is my good friend, Tane, and together we are Future Crunch.
So how did we end up in a world that is moving so fast? And how did 2 incredibly good-looking bearded millennials with terrible fashion sense end up here at MDRT talking to you about the latest stories in science and technology?
And most importantly, what does any of this have to do with you? Well, to answer that question, we're going to need to go back, way back, all the way back into the dusty, distant, forgotten footnotes of history, all the way back to the year 1995. Yep, that's us.
Hey, Gus. Nice braces, man. You certainly were a catch.
Whatever, Tane. The snakes on the head thing, I'm sure that was a great look for the ladies.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, let's be honest, when we were 12, no girl would ever speak to us.
But then, on opposite sides of the world, Las Cruces, New Mexico, Johannesburg, South Africa, at almost the same time, this happened.
Anyone remember that beautiful sound? Well, it was beautiful to me because 1995 was a big year. Got my first internet connection, and I got my first girlfriend.
Oh yeah? What was her name, man?
Her name, Tane, was Sweet Cheeks 13. And I met her on the internet. And I thought I'd done really well because there were 16 million people online in 95, so it felt like I'd found a beautiful needle in a digital haystack. Today, 2018, there are 5.5 billion people on the planet over the age of 14. How many of them do you think have phones?
5 billion, and 3 billion have smartphones.
This is the most remarkable technological uptake in human history. 4 billion people are online, half of humanity. It's the quickest technological uptake. Never before have so many of us adopted a tool, the smartphone, so quickly and at such scale.
And as we all furiously connect and tweet and stream and download, we're creating trillions of terabytes of data. Not only do data flows allow for the better movement of goods, services, finance, and people, they have value in their own right. In fact, since 2015, data flows have accounted for more global GDP growth than the world's entire physical goods trade. Data is the new oil. That is not just some Silicon Valley soundbite, it is an economic reality.
Unlike oil, though, an expensive, centralized resource, data is a lot cheaper and a lot more accessible. It's ushered in a new form of digital globalization, one that's leveled the playing field.
One that's created opportunity for hundreds of countries, for millions of small businesses, and to billions of our fellow human beings that have never had access to the global economy before.
So why is data so disruptive? Well, to answer that question, we're going to need to introduce you to the most powerful people on the planet. Everyone ready? Any idea who that might be?
No. It is not the oil barons. They had their time in the sun.
It's not the wolves of Wall Street anymore.
No, the most powerful people in the world in 2018 are the geeks.
Careful, you might be sitting next to one right now. Don't worry though, because the geeks are working with code, the thing that allows us to take data and refine it, gather it, distribute it, and ultimately give it value. And code has what we call a 000 set of properties that makes it very special.
The first zero is zero marginal cost of production. So once I've built a piece of code, it costs me nothing to replicate it, to make another one. I can just copy and paste it as many times as I want. How great is that? It costs me the same whether I make 1 or 1 million.
The second zero friction of distribution. On a planet where everyone's connected, code goes anywhere at light speed. And so it costs me the same to send it from here to Venice Beach as it does to send it to Buenos Aires or Beijing. How great is that? Shipping cost? 0.
Finally, zero latency of updating. So when a new and improved version comes along, version 2.0, I instantly get access to it. The software updates automatically. Many of your phones are updating as we speak.
This 000 business model is why the world's most valuable companies in China and the United States are all in tech.
It's why technology, which used to be a sector on its own, is now a layer over absolutely everything.
And it can be at the heart of your success too. But only if you realize that what matters most in the next economy aren't the resources in here, in the phone, it's the resources in here.
If you take anything from the two of us this morning, one thing away, it's this. Intelligence isn't what you know, it is how you think.
And most of us have been taught to think that this kind of technology is scary, that the future is dark, that humanity is in big trouble.
You see, thanks to evolution, our brains are like Velcro for the negative stories and like Teflon for the positive ones. Scientific studies have shown us that when we see something dangerous or scary, we read the bad news. It overrides all other higher functioning parts of the brain. We stop thinking rationally. Negativity and fear, they have a physiological effect. Our stress hormones spike, our heart rate goes up, and our sweat output increases.
Humans are also great empathy machines. We're really great at taking other people's emotions and then feeling them ourselves. Put yourself in this person's shoes. Oh, anyone got sweaty palms?
It gets me every time.
So not only are fear and negativity addictive, they're contagious. And on a planet that's hyper-connected, a single negative emotion is capable of infecting the entire population. It's like a mind virus, which is great for the news channels and social media, but it's terrible for perspective.
It's why Ebola makes headlines, but the bad handwriting of doctors does not, even though it kills more people. It's why we celebrate dangerous and scary professions like firemen, but we don't celebrate nurses as much. We had to work out a lot for that picture. We don't celebrate them as much, even though they save more lives. And the reason they save more lives? Well, they can read doctors' bad handwriting.
So hold on, it gets worse, because once we believe that Ebola is coming, that there's a terrorist lurking around the corner, or that the robots are here to steal our jobs, we go out looking for more news that confirms that belief. And of course, there's plenty of it out there.
And when our strong beliefs, they're challenged, we dig in even harder. It's a terrible feedback loop. We get stuck in our bad news bubble, and once we're inside it, it is so hard to break out. And that is why so many of us are fearful of the future.
It's why it's so easy to lose our sense of hope. And that's exactly what happened to me. In 2012, I finished my PhD at the London School of Economics. For more than a decade, I devoted my career to understanding the causes of deforestation. Where did it get me? I found myself at the end spiraling into a vicious cycle of negativity. I believed humanity was doomed. And everything I saw confirmed that belief. What we look for, we find, right? So I started struggling to get out of bed. I couldn't get a job. I stopped exercising properly. I stopped eating properly. I stopped speaking to the people that love me most. Why do we do that when our mental health is so bad? And then just when I felt I couldn't go on anymore, I read an article by the English journalist George Monbiot, and he said, as environmentalists, if we had deliberately set out to put off as many people as possible, couldn't have done better if we'd tried. For 50 years, we've been telling people that the oceans are dying, that the forests are burning, that water wars are on the horizon, and that we're all on a collision course with a climate change time bomb.
Yeah, Gus. Fear is a great way to get your attention, but a terrible way to motivate people.
That's right. So I decided that day that I would no longer give in to fear. I decided to seek out stories of change, stories about how millions of our fellow human beings are working to make the world a better place. And then a funny thing started to happen. By changing the way I thought, I changed the way the world looked. I realized that because of fear, I'd been picking up all of the problems. My radar had been broken. Optimism, I realized, doesn't have to be a reaction to the world around you. It's a choice by which you can navigate it.
You can choose to be fearful of the future, to be overwhelmed by the rapid pace of technological change, or you can choose to shift your perspective.
You can change the way you think and approach technology not from a place of fear, but from a place of curiosity, wonder, and intelligent optimism. You see, it's not just that data is the new oil, that we're all getting connected, and that code creates new business models.
That's right. It's that the code itself is evolving. We're at the dawn of a new artificial intelligence explosion.
We're teaching our machines to learn dynamically from their environments, to read, to write, to see, to listen, to hear, and most importantly, to analyze and predict in ways we once thought were impossible.
In medicine, my field, it's incredible. Code can already read brain scans of 6-month-olds to determine whether they're likely to have autism. By contrast, human clinicians have to wait till the kid turns 2. In our hospitals, we're using similar algorithms to diagnose Alzheimer's up to 9 years before doctors can, and even spot invisible tumors in X-rays.
It's amazing, Tane, and it's not just image recognition that AI can do, it's also really good at recognizing other patterns in data. At Google, they're using AI to increase the efficiency of their data centers by 15%, reducing costs by 40%. It's a single piece of cognitive code that's saving the company hundreds of millions of dollars every year. And the same is true in finance. At JP Morgan, they've used AI to save themselves 360,000 hours annually of legal time. And at Goldman Sachs, they've used AI to automate half of the steps required before conducting a big IPO. That work used to be done by highly paid human analysts. Now, it's done by machines.
You know what the really interesting part is? There was no impact on headcount. Instead, those analysts now spend more time developing business strategy, connecting with their clients. You know, the important stuff. There's a huge opportunity here. Over $1 trillion is exposed to disruption from artificial intelligence worldwide in the financial services industry. And it is up for grabs.
And it's not just the big banks, it's available to everyone. AI is great for creating new products. It allows you to comb through records and find hidden patterns, make better investments based on alternative data, calculate credit risk more accurately, or assess claims using machine vision on images of windshield cracks or storms damage. All of these innovations rely on AI combining with one magical ingredient: human judgment.
That's the real secret. In medicine, we already showed you that machines can do the jobs of image technicians. Yet here's what Professor Curtis Langlotz, one of the world's best radiologists, had to say when asked about the threat of AI coming to steal all the jobs. Artificial intelligence will not replace radiologists. Those radiologists who use artificial intelligence will replace the ones who don't.
And the same is true in finance. It's not the machines versus the humans, it's the machines and the humans. We're seeing AI create a new wave of smaller, nimbler, more powerful investment managers, and combined with the explosion in data availability, they can generate alpha at a fraction of the cost of the big traditional players.
Because their services and products are built on code with that 000 set of qualities, the new wave isn't region or country specific, it's available to everyone.
Most of your competitors are still trying to get their heads around digital. They're not even thinking yet about cognitive. And that means that you can get ahead of the game. All you need is an internet connection and a bit of good old-fashioned curiosity.
Take my dad, for example. He's almost 70. Actually, my mom and dad are in the crowd here today. Can we give them a round of applause? Everyone say hi, Mom and Dad.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
It's my mom's birthday in 2 days, too, so say happy birthday, maybe, too. Anyway, so my dad is in finance, and he likes free things, too. So let's see what he has to say.
I'm Tane's dad. I've just taken several machine learning AI courses, one from Stanford, two from Fast AI. I highly recommend them. Fast AI courses take you right up to the absolute state of the art.
It turns out you can teach an old dog new tricks. Anyway, as for me, I wasn't always in medical research. In fact, my first job was as a professional mountain biker.
Is that a real job, Tane?
It is, Gus. And I loved it. That's me winning nationals. But that all came crashing down in 2005 when I broke my back. I was devastated. The thing I loved, that got me out of bed in the morning, was taken away. So what did I do? Well, once I began to heal, I took up sailing, of course. So I journeyed across the South Pacific, weathered epic storms, got to play with sharks. That one's my favorite. Her name is Fluffy. So I loved marine biology. And one day I found myself knee-deep in a beached whale in the Cook Islands, dissecting it.
As you do.
And I had an epiphany. If I could learn to read DNA, the code of life, then I could use that information to do almost anything within biology. And today I do cancer research. And I use artificial intelligence to scan through the DNA of patients and figure out what genetic changes are causing cancer. From this information, we can pick up the cancer earlier and create much better therapies to improve patients' health. Thank you.
Okay, so what does it all have to do with you? This is going to be the craziest century in our species' history. Hang on tight. We are in for the ride of our lives. What's the only way to navigate this explosion of possibility? It's to change the way we think.
We have the most remarkable information resource humanity has ever known at our fingertips. We have to be smart about how we use it. We can open our minds to new ways of thinking, prioritize learning over just being right, cultivate a courageous curiosity over lazy pessimism.
I mean, cynicism's easy, right?
Yeah, you're never surprised or wrong when things go bad. But by contrast, when we move beyond our natural negativity, we redraw the boundaries of what's possible.
I mean, this doesn't have to be naive either. We can anticipate setbacks and failures, disappointments and betrayals, but we can also believe that our best hope lies in an intelligent and courageous optimism, one that's willing to confront the cynics who tell us the world cannot change.
Science, technology, and human ingenuity give us the tools we need to make this world a better place.
They give us intelligent reasons to believe that action is possible, that better solutions are available, and that a better future can be built.
A shared belief in a better future provides the opportunity for us to pave a new path.
It creates the opportunity for us to respect one another and to work together.
And that is what the $1 Million Round Table and these next few days is all about. So enjoy yourself and make the most of it. Future Crunch, out.